Feedback about our city's future from our community is really important. It helps us prioritise your needs when planning services, projects and other initiatives.
A convenient way to have your say and stay in the loop on any upcoming consultations is by registering your details on our Engagement Hub website at playford.engagementhub.com.au.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Have you visited the Stratton Centre on Peachy Road, Manapara? Designed to support growth in the city of Playford, the centre offers dedicated workspaces from less than $10 per day. There's also state-of-the-art event and meeting spaces for hire, a complimentary business support service to help you upskill, apply for grants and grow, workshops and networking, as well as training for young kids right through to adults, plus the City of Playford Library.
Contact our team for a tour on 8254 4666 or visit the Stratton Centre at 307 Peachy Road, Manapara.
Support your local theatre and arts industry and enjoy a show at the Shedley. Playford's iconic Shedley Theatre is bringing a great selection of local and national performances to Elizabeth.
For more information on their upcoming shows, visit theshedley.com.au or call 8256 0500.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.
Right, good evening all and welcome to this July meeting of the City of Playford Council Assessment Panel. Take this opportunity to welcome members and staff and those who have joined us in the gallery and online this evening. I will get to some introductions shortly, but I'll just start by reading our acknowledgement of country. We would like to acknowledge that this land we meet on today is the traditional land of the Kaurna people and that we respect their spiritual relationship with their country. The City of Playford would also like to pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. Now, as we do have members in the gallery with us and also online, I'll introduce the members of the panel to you. To my left is Aaron Curtis, normally sitting to my right, but joining us online this evening is Adam Squires, and on the table just down here in front of me we have Paul Micken and Councillor Misty Norris. My name's Jeff Parsons and I'm the presiding member, and we are assisted by a number of members of Council's administration with us. Also online we have Laith, our assessment manager. We have Matt, our senior manager of development services. Oliver, a senior planner. Sky, who's helping us with governance and minutes, and Nate on IT. So good evening to you all. We will shortly get to our item for consideration, but I'll just start by moving through some of our administrative items. So members, in terms of the attendance record, all members are present. There are no apologies. The minutes of the last meeting. The last meeting was held on the 18th of June. All members have received a copy of those minutes. Any questions in relation to the minutes? No. In that case, I'm looking for a mover. They be adopted, please. Move Paul, thank you. Is there a seconder? Adam, I think you had your hand up. Yep, so We'll take Adam as the seconder. All those in favour, please raise your hand. And that's carried unanimously. Applications withdrawn tonight is nil. Is there any declaration of interest any member wishes to make in respect to the item before us? No. Okay, so this does take us to our first item for consideration. So this is an application for a change in the use of the land from dwelling to office, retrospective with associated advertising signage. The applicant is Mrs. Sarah Hurst and Mr. Jaden Hurst, and the location's 1 Jane Street, Smithfield. In a general neighbourhood zone, was performance assessed and public notification was given. We did receive a representation. Oliver, do you have anything you'd like to take us through as an introduction to the item, please?
Thanks, Jeff. Probably not too much to go through as far as introduction. Generally covered off in sections 3 and 4 of the report, which is the background and the proposal. As you've stated, retrospective change in land use from dwelling to office, and that's in the form of a disability support provider. The use commenced in approximately December 2025, and since then we've kind of been working with the applicant through the development assessment process. Up to 5 employees at the business, standard business operating hours between Monday and Friday, and I guess generally the key considerations as part of my planning assessment were around whether the proposed use as an office is an appropriate use in the zone, the extent of the impact that the proposed use might have on adjoining land uses, and general vehicle parking and traffic management implications as well.
Thanks, Oliver. Appreciate that. All right, members. Now we do, as I said, have a hearing of representation tonight, and we do have the representative, Mr. Josh Kennedy, who's joined us online. So, Josh, just before I ask you to take yourself off of mute and we'll get you to speak, there's just a few rules around how this process works. So, for the benefit of yourself and the applicant who's here with us, I'll just explain how that works, and then I'll open the floor to you. So this is really an opportunity for you to address the panel and to speak to your representation or your response and to highlight any key points that you'd like the panel to consider. Once all representatives have addressed the panel, the applicant's given the opportunity to respond. Representatives and applicants have 5 minutes to address the panel. Now, I do normally keep track of time, and that's just so we can provide procedural fairness to everyone. If you just get close to that mark, I'll ask you to begin summing up. It's important to note that the panel has copies of the written representation that was received and the applicant's response. We've had a chance to read that and work through that. So as I said, this is really a chance for you to highlight any key points. The panel might have questions of you, so when it's your turn to speak, obviously for yourself, Josh, you're online, so you'll be able to stay exactly where you are. When it's the applicant's turn to respond, we'll invite you up to the podium here to do so. There's a microphone so we can make sure that those online can hear you. And once you've finished your presentation, I'll just check if there are any questions for you. Often the panel has more questions of the applicant than the representative. That's just because the applicant has detailed knowledge of the proposal and we might need to delve down into that. So once you've spoken, there's no further opportunity to be heard, but you are welcome to either stay online or stay in the room and listen to the deliberations of the panel and the decision. It's an open meeting. It's not closed off for that decision-making portion. The panel's role is not one where we need to mediate between the parties to find a compromise. Our role is that we need to make a balanced planning judgment on the information that's before us, and we use the comments that you have and the information you provide to help us in that process. I know if you've never done this before, it can be daunting, but there's absolutely no need for it to be. The panel's genuinely interested in what you have to say, so take your time and work through your points. And as I said, if there are questions, we'll certainly ask those. So, all of that said, Josh, I think I'm not sure if we can take you off mute or if you take yourself off mute there. There you go, you should be off mute now. So when we can hear you, so when you're ready, you can start. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't reject the proposal in any way. My only concern was as a landlord for one of the properties immediately adjacent across the road, we've already got some small parking issues within the strata, and people do park in that place out the front, and I just didn't want there to be increased competition for local parking spaces for the tenants or their visitors if there was a busy business operating in that side street, because they are unable to park out the front on the main road. So I suggested that there's an unnecessary island out the front. I don't know its purpose, but it takes up parking space that could be used. So yeah, I didn't reject this in any way, shape or form. I just suggested remove that island to accommodate more parking spaces, and I was uncertain as to whether 5 staff could one day be 10 in the current business climate. Who knows what the business plans to do, and then it's a slippery slope of adding people and adding, you know, extra bits and pieces here and there. So once you sort of open that up, then, you know, it can just develop through time. We've already got adjacent a service station, which wasn't previously there, which is also providing a negative externality to us, but that's separate to this. So yeah, all I wanted to do was get rid of that island to add parking spaces, and that's all I had to say.
Thanks very much, Josh, for your comments. I think that's that's good clarification and certainly good information for the panel. Do you have any questions, members, you'd like to ask Josh? No? In that case, thank you very much for your submissions, Josh. I appreciate that. As I said before, you're welcome to stay online and observe the discussion and the decision-making process. So I'm happy to ask the applicant to come and respond to that. I had the applicant listed as Mrs. Sarah Hurst and Mr. Jaden Hurst. Is one of you prepared to? Yeah, certainly. So just come forward to the podium here. So we switched the microphone on for you already there, so the people online will be able to hear you. So when you're ready, we'd welcome your response to the comments.
Perfect, thank you. So I fully understand where he's coming from of sort of where the carport is and where the island is. We do not allow anyone to park down that way at all. We don't want to impact the residents at all. As many are aware, there's 2 car parks that are undercover. That's where myself and another staff member occasionally and another 2 staff members come, so we only have 1 car park or 2 car parks on the property a day. At the front, we only allocate that for appointment staff only, so we don't really use the front driveway that's there at all. So when we do have events or anything, we keep it at a maximum of 5 cars on the property, 5 to 6, so we don't want to impact anyone else around us. And then the expansion of the business as well. Before we even thought about getting the property, we had a maximum amount of people, and moving forward, we will be building somewhere else as well. So our maximum is 5 staff, and that's capped at that, no matter what. And there's a lot of instances like today, we actually didn't even use the office. We worked from home purely because someone called up. We just thought it was easier. So we're quite low impact in our opinion on the residents, and we don't want to disturb anyone around. So, yeah.
Thanks very much, Jaden, isn't it? Yeah, thank you.
Can I just also add to this as well? There's only currently 4 staff there at the moment, and out of the 4 staff, 3 actually family members, and most of the time we travel in the 1 car as well. So if you were ever to go past on a normal day, more than likely you won't even see any cars there at all whatsoever, because it'll be parked out the back undercover. So now and then you'll see a car parked on the driveway at the front, but that driveway at the front is 4 cars wide. So there's plenty of parking on the property itself without even going onto the road. But as the gentleman said before, look, if that island wasn't there, in case we did have a lot of people turn up, that would be good, because the island actually doesn't look like it does anything for the neighbourhood anyway. So, yeah, it's a leftover piece of concrete that's there, I think. So.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your comments and for responding. I think we do have a question. Paul.
Thank you. Firstly, can you explain what internal changes were made to the building to make it suitable for an office?
Yeah, the only thing we did was we created 2, what would you call it, non-permanent walls inside. So where the lounge room is, there's a temporary wall where the lounge room and dining room was. There's just been one wall put in one way and another wall put in another way to create 2 more office spaces. And that can be taken down, that wall, at any time.
Other question was relating to parking and access. There's no left turn from Main North Road into Jane Street, but I think human nature might be that people then go to the OTR entrance, do a left and left again.
Yep.
And do they, from your experience, or do your own staff or visitors actually do that manoeuvre and then cross the road directly into your new car park?
I've personally, we have to go a different way to get into there because it's just not easy for us to come up heading north where you come in from going south. And another staff member works in the back streets, so she doesn't come that way anyway. For other staff members that do turn up, we're not sure. We haven't really asked the question. So, yeah.
Thank you. Adam, I'm just checking, given you're online, do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
No questions for the representatives. Wouldn't mind a question of administration when we get to that, thanks.
Certainly. Any other questions, members? No, in that case, thank you very much. You're welcome to resume your seats and observe the decision-making process. Thank you. All right, there is now an opportunity to ask questions of the administration. So, Adam, I'll throw to you first.
Cool, thank you. Two questions, Ollie. The protuberance thing that's been talked about by the representative and the applicant, are you able to shed any more light on the history, justification or otherwise, where that one's come from?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Adam. I had a bit of a look at the history of the island area there, just on historic aerial imagery. It looks like it was introduced in around 2006, 2007. As far as I understand, it was introduced to limit westbound traffic exiting south from the OTR and to channel that traffic back onto Main North Road rather than exit into the local road network. So as far as I understand, that's the intent, is to limit that westbound traffic.
Cool. Thank you. Second question, the applicant identified that I think it was 5 staff just picking up some of the concerns from the presenter. I couldn't see anything in the documents that talked to how many staff are proposed as part of the application. Is that something that's been provided by addendum or something that would form part of, if we were to sort of support approval, be part of the stamped documents?
Yeah, I think I have some email correspondence with the applicant that confirms the 5 staff maximum. Also happy to entertain a condition that might impose a limit on staff numbers as well.
Cool. Thank you. Paul from me.
Thanks, Adam. Paul.
Follow up to my question to the applicant and partly related to Adam's question is the access to Jane Street that and I appreciate you're not a traffic engineer, you may not know the answer to this, but the manoeuvre I explained of left into OTR and then left out back onto Jane Street and then crossing directly over, to your knowledge, is that a lawful, illegal manoeuvre? And yeah.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, like you said, I'm not a traffic engineer and I'm not a police officer either, so I'm not actually sure if that would be a legal manoeuvre. So yeah, that didn't really didn't consider as part of my assessment.
Any further questions, members? I might, just before I throw it open to members for your comments on the proposal, I might just offer something to the representative and the applicant as well. We've certainly heard your comments around the traffic island. It's not within the panel's remit. We don't have the ability to make a decision around whether that island stays or goes. Our job is purely to make a decision on the development application itself, but we obviously have council representatives in the room as well, and if you decided that that was something you wanted to pursue, the right approach would be to the council's, probably their traffic department, to talk about that island and whether it still serves a useful purpose and whether it should remain or otherwise, so you're welcome to make that approach. So, members, your views on this application. we obviously have a good quality report before us from the administration. We've had helpful comments from the representative and the applicant, and the recommendation is for planning consent to be granted. Who would like to start? Aaron, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Through the presiding member. Look, I broadly support the development in line with the officer's report. The land use and the rationale within the description of the report, I think, is sound. The approach that's been taken. So, and noting that this particular locality is somewhat comprised of commercial uses within the zone, and is very much impacted by the main North Road thoroughfare that borders the site. In terms of the matter of car parking, I'm satisfied that there's adequate car parking on the site. I think it's noted within the report that it's not an ideal arrangement that we have, 4 or more cars that potentially reversing from the site, but I'm satisfied that it's fairly, given the restriction of left turns from Main North Road, that it can be done in a safe manner and in the same way as other vehicles do reverse onto the street, in a residential neighbourhood. In relation to the matter of the number of staff, I think it's important to also, in addition to any condition that might be imposed, and broadly I'm supportive of that approach, that also the building consent will need a classification given to the use, and there would need to be a certificate of occupancy that would need to limit the number of persons in the building as well. But I think it's also reasonable for us to expect that, look, the building's limited in its size, and naturally it will limit the scale and capacity that can be accommodated. Regarding that protuberance in the road, I think it does serve that purpose to the, even though I think it can be seen as, well, what does it achieve? But it clearly was put there to prevent vehicles from driving out from the service station into the residential area. Although it is interesting to think that there probably would be few vehicles that would necessarily warrant driving into that street, as the vast majority, I think, of customers would be left in and then left out back onto Main North Road. Look, regarding the road widening, I did have a look at that. It does look as though in the event that there was a need for road widening, it would take up a fair bit of that landscaped area, but it doesn't appear that it would conflict with the car parking. So in the event that that land was taken, I think the 4 car parks that are on the site would still be accommodated. The last point I just wanted to make is it is a fairly wide crossover and the extent of parking, so I don't think it's necessarily the best outcome that has been achieved in terms of the expanse of the pavement, but in the context of that service station and that particular locality, I think it's still acceptable. So look, on balance, I'm broadly supportive, but I do support the additional condition as suggested by Adam. Thanks.
Now that we have a few members who have highlighted the need for that condition, I might just ask the administration to commence drafting. It'll be up to the panel whether they choose to include it, but it would be useful to have some words prepared for that. Thank you. Paul, you're next.
Thank you. Yes, I don't believe this proposal is seriously at variance, and specifically because the office is anticipated in the zone, specifically referenced in Performance Outcome 1.1. I concur with the officer's assessment regarding the site location in relation to an activity centre, and agree that the policies aren't that helpful in respect to that aspect, given that there is that gap in that this is it's more than 500, but less than the 500, whatever. But I agree that the Performance Outcome 1.4 does provide guidance as to what's an acceptable scale for an office outside an activity centre, and I think this proposal satisfies those in terms of floor space, of only just over 100 square metres. I think the office hours are reasonable and they'll be set by condition. The advertisement is small and not all that larger than what might be approved for a home activity. I think the interface, there's no issues in my view that the car park access is well separated from nearby sensitive receivers, and in any case amenity is reduced by Main North Road traffic and also the OTR opposite the site to the north. Despite my focus on the access to Jane Street, I don't see any issue, and again I'm not a traffic engineer or know the law so well that wouldn't be an illegal manoeuvre, but I imagine it will happen, but it's beyond our realm as to whether that's lawful or not. Importantly, I don't think the alterations that have been undertaken internally would present any significant barrier to the building reverting back to a dwelling in future if that was to occur. Except, I guess, outside the large expanse of concrete now on the northern boundary may be a deterrent, but again, that could be removed in whole or in part to restore to a garden, for example. So, yes, I agree that the proposal is acceptable, and I too would support an additional condition limiting the number of staff.
Thank you. Misty, I might come to you next. Thanks.
Thank you. Look, I pretty much concur with what's been said so far. I'm in support of the application. Having a look at the locality, you can already see in the general area that there is a considerable amount of commercial activity anyway. Obviously with Main North Road, you've also got Charlotte Street not too far away. Just in regards to that, I was having a look at some of the things in terms of, I think obviously still being a residential house that's been slightly modified, you know, it's still within the residential character of the locality. Whilst there might be some concern with increased on-street parking, I think we've sort of noted that, you know, they're not always there, plus there are work from home opportunities. There's not a lot of actual clientele coming to the site. The building itself is low-rise, so it doesn't compromise residential amenity, small-scale commercial use. I think in regards to when it talks about improves community access to services, so you know this is something that actually helps the community. The hours themselves, I think, lend to normal business hours realistically, which again wouldn't affect anything in regards to noise output, and as you said, that's kind of, you know, alleviated by the noise from Main North Road anyway, but this is general business hours. I really don't see that there's any major impact to people that actually live in that locality, so I would be in support.
Thank you. Adam.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, look, echo a number of thoughts being expressed by fellow panel members. I think this, the nature of the development is supportable in this context, given it's using an existing building. There's no real visible alteration to the existing structure from a character point of view. The number of cars on site would probably be consistent with what you get on some dwellings. So I think that's acceptable in that respect. I do think a limitation on number of staff makes it supportable. It is a constrained parking environment, and if you did end up with, you know, significant increase in staffing, that's something I think the administration would need to consider. So yeah, I think a condition in that respect is appropriate. Otherwise, yeah, the hours of operation, I appreciate the context taken in the recommended conditions. I think that's a practical approach, and otherwise, yeah, supportive of the application.
No, thank you. And look, I have very similar views. Members was satisfied it wasn't seriously at variance. It's an envisaged land use subject to scale, and I think the scale here is relatively minor. I also thought that given that scale, given the number of people to be accommodated, it was unlikely to have any negative impacts on residential amenity, which is one of the other tests really for a use such as this. I didn't think light spill or noise or anything was likely to be unreasonable. I also didn't think it undermined the role of the nearby activity centre. as other members have spoken about, it's a mixed locality. There's residential, but there's obviously a primary arterial road, a service station and other non-residential uses in the locality as well. So I think this is a reasonable small-scale transition between what are some pretty intense uses and residential development. And I think the concerns from the representative are certainly valid. Where you've got residential development, you don't necessarily want to see streets unreasonably, or parking spaces, available on-street parking spaces, unreasonably occupied. But I think with the protections from the additional condition around the number of staff, I think even if this particular business was to move on and a different office use was to come in, there's still restrictions that would mean there wouldn't be an unreasonable impact on parking. So it sounds as if we are all in agreement. I might just see if, Sky, we can have that additional wording for that condition. Thank you. So members, you should be able to see it on the screen there that the office use is limited to a maximum of 5 staff members at any one time. If members are satisfied with that condition, I'm not seeing any nods or anything to the contrary. I'm getting a thumbs up. So I'm looking if someone's prepared to move that recommendation. Adam, you're moving. Thank you. Sarah? Oh, sorry, I might have not had my peripheral vision going, but I'll take Aaron as the seconder, Adam as the mover. All those in favour, please raise your hand, and that's carried unanimously. So for the benefit of those who have joined us both in here and online, thank you for your comments. The panel has granted planning consent. Now it is still subject to building consent, development approval being obtained, and you've obviously heard the debate this evening and our consideration around those items such as parking. If you do have any further questions around the process from here or next steps, you are welcome to talk to the administration, to Oliver the next business day. He'll be happy to assist you. And as I said before, if you do have concerns or comments you want to raise around the traffic island, those would best be directed to Council's traffic engineering department. So I'm sure they'll be happy to assist you also. We do have a couple of more administrative items to get to on our agenda, so you are welcome to either stay with us or you're also welcome to leave us at this point. So thank you very much for your time and your attendance. We really appreciate it. Now, members, moving back to our agenda, there are no applications for no persons to be heard, no applications for Cat 1 development. In terms of appeals and deferred items, Laith, is there any appeal you'd like to update us on?
Not this month. Hopeful we should be able to provide an appeal update next month. I did want to just raise something. Apologies, Jeff. I just noticed it as we were going through, and I know we have just carried that motion. I think there could be value in just updating condition 1. Sorry for raising it just now. I've just noticed, I think it's just as it's transferred across, it hasn't got our standard ones. Generally, it's the development shall be undertaken and completed and maintained in accordance. So we've just, for some reason, planning consents just got there. So I do apologise. I just think it'd be cleaner just to, I guess, fix that up now rather than there. So apologies for not picking that up sooner and part of the draft, but just wanting to make sure, because I don't think the condition reads quite right now. My apologies.
Okay, thank you. So it was just that the
It was just a formatting error. So the development planning consent shall be it had an extra 2 words in there for planning consent, which just didn't read right and just obviously potentially makes it a bit invalid. So I just thought, just tidy up. So it's just back to our standard one that should be there. So I do apologise.
Okay. I think there's always an argument. I think that sort of minor typographical changes can be accommodated, but would there be some value in the panel maybe just quickly moving and seconding and voting on an amendment? I'm not quite sure how that works with our meeting procedures, or
I guess I'm comfortable to make that amendment. I just wanted to put it to the panel because it's really just saying the development shall be undertaken. I think previously it was the development planning consent be completed. So for some, I do apologise, instead of being shall be undertaken, just said planning consent. So I think it was just a typographical error, which I'm happy to amend as the assessment manager because it is a standard condition, but just wanted to raise it to the panel, or alternatively to, I guess, move again.
Paul, sorry.
Yes, no, I'll just note that in the printed agenda that distributed to us members, it is correct. Only the 3 conditions were listed, so it was only on what was presented on screen tonight. So as per the agenda, we're probably right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think as well that if it's a minor typographical amendment, I think that could be made at the liberty of the assessment manager, and I don't think we need to make a further resolution. In fact, I'm not sure we can anyway.
No, I'm not sure we can. Yeah. All right, thank you. I'm seeing thumbs up. So, and yes, there might be some discrepancy between the printed version and the version we were seeing. So, if not, I think that minor change, the panel seems happy for that to be made. So, no, thank you for that. Appreciate that. It's important to get that right. So, thank you. Just returning to the rest of our agenda, we are now at other business. Is there any item of other business from any member? No? Any item of other business from the staff, Laith? No. Okay. No staff reports, no confidential matters. Any item of planning policy from members? No. In that case, happy to declare the meeting closed at 6:33 p.m. Thank you, members, for your attendance and deliberation on that item, and thank you to the staff for your support. Thank you also to you, Laith, for making yourself available. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Guys.
That's all.
Did you know your food scraps should go in the green bin or a home compost system? It's better for the environment. It's the right thing to do. And it's easy. Fight food waste by putting all your food scraps, peels and leftovers in the green bin. To find out more, visit playford.sa.gov.au/fightfoodwaste.